I know everybody a go lie. I know everybody a go lie. Success don't come overnight. No matter no a substance over hype. Do it for the love, me not do it for the life.
Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real. Episode number 5, but who's counting, right? 1 month gone, and the first month is done. I'm happy. Like I said, the show is going to evolve. So I'm live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Keeping It Real is your go-to show for personal and professional development, diving deep into fitness, real estate, public speaking, and networking. Thanks for joining me tonight and making time. Or if you're watching on the replay, thanks for watching the replay. Say hello in the comments if you're here live. I'd love to know you're tuning in. I think one person at least is watching. So if you're tuning in, make a comment. It's going to bounce up like this. Here, check this out. This is just a sample comment. So if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you make a comment. It will say Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube where it says StreamYard there, and then the comment will come through. All right, so if you're watching, don't be shy. Go ahead and make a comment. Let's connect. This isn't just a show. It's the start of a growing community. Together, we can build a space where like-minded individuals can learn, connect, and grow personally and professionally. I want to know out there, what goals, personal or professional, are you ready to take on? Comment below, and let's kick this journey off together. Hello, I'm Jason Harris, and I'm unofficially the fittest commercial real estate professional south of Boston, but maybe not this far south. Also known as Coach FitPro J, your diet-free fat loss specialist. I'm the coach who talks the talk and walks the walk. I've been there, done that, and now I empower real estate professionals and entrepreneurs to take control of their nutrition and fitness without feeling overwhelmed, by keeping it simple, keeping it moving, and keeping it real. Welcome to the weekly live broadcast, Keeping It Real. All right, and we do have a comment. Somebody is watching, at least. One person made a comment. Casey's watching. Hey, Casey, what's going on out there? Thanks for making a comment and not leaving me hanging out there. All right, so how'd you like my intro? Yeah, just like I shared in the very first episode, this do-it-yourself intro is all me. No pros involved. But good news, though. I've got a videography company, I think, lined up to create a polished one. Stay tuned to upcoming episodes to find out what happens next with that. All right. I appreciate you being here tonight. Tonight, we're going to start with From Stage Fright to Spotlight, the public speaking segment of the show. After that, in the Core 4 of networking, Al and I will be talking about showing up. Then in the segment Fitness Success, the 4 pillars of achievement, I'll talk about the first pillar, nutrition habits. And then we'll finish up with real estate. Let's jump right in. From Stage Fright to Spotlight, our comprehensive public speaking segment designed to help you master this crucial skill. Whether you're speaking to a large audience or just in front of a small group, this segment of the show will give you the tools you need to shed the stage fright and step confidently into the spotlight. Tonight, let me get rid of this graphic here. Tonight, I was supposed to have a fellow Toastmaster join us, but I'll talk about that in a second. Wanted to ask you if you knew what Toastmasters was, but if you didn't, let me explain. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. And just like it says network there, it's a great place and organization to network. I belong to the Spirited Speakers Club out of Middleborough, Massachusetts, and we currently meet virtually on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of every month. If you ever want to visit a virtual meeting to see what it's all about, comment Spirited and I'll get you the meeting link. Our next few meetings will be a little bit different, okay? At different times than usual because of the holiday season. The next meeting will be actually this Wednesday, which is the first Wednesday of the month, November 6th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. and it's virtual. So as I said, if you're interested, comment Spirited, and I'll get you the meeting link. You're in a different state, you can come and visit and join us. All right. Don't worry, you can simply sit back and watch. You can be a fly in the wall. You're not required to participate at all. We'll acknowledge that you're there, but you can stay in the background if you like. Looking forward to seeing you there. On tonight's From Stage Fright to Spotlight segment, I was going to have a special guest, Sean Da Silva, and he was supposed to be discussing the Toastmaster meeting role of evaluator. So I can't bring him out because he's not here. So what I'm going to do is wing it. And by winging it, I'm going to talk about Toastmasters and one of the roles, or the roles of Toastmasters. So Toastmasters International, right? So I belong to Spirited Speakers Club in Middleborough. We meet virtually, whether it's virtual or in person. Toastmasters meetings are generally about an hour and a half long or so. They're very structured. There are different roles that members of the club can take on, or they can just not participate and just be in the room or what have you. So if you are new to Toastmasters in your club, let me just tell you about my example of what I did anyway. When I joined Toastmasters, even though I was assigned a mentor and everything to help me, through the beginnings of things, I ended up taking on the listener role quite a few times at first. And so that's the role I think I'll talk about, is the listener role. The listener role. So the listener role in a Toastmaster club is a role that you sign up for, and all you do from the start of the meeting all the way through to the end, or just about the end, you listen. You do active listening, and you write down questions, and you can quiz, and you end up quizzing the club members towards the end of the meeting when you do the listeners report. The other thing is that you listen for and you can jot down is any phrases, words, or anything unique that you've heard that you listened to throughout the whole meeting. And then you would bring that up then as well. One of the reasons why I liked the listener role is not only because I was uncomfortable at first in the Toastmasters meeting, of course, because who isn't usually embarrassed or have anxiety or some sort of feel a certain way about public speaking, right? From the days of elementary school, even in junior high and high school, where you have to get up in front of your peers and do some sort of a science project or read in front of the class or what have you, public speaking. So being bashful or whatever you call it, when I first joined, I ended up taking on the listener role quite a bit. And I did this for a few reasons. I did the listener role because being a commercial real estate professional, just real estate professional in general, right, and an entrepreneur, I participate and attend a lot of meetings, whether that's one-on-one or multiple people. And the listener role in Toastmasters, since I'm listening to the whole meeting and jotting down, I'm actively paying attention to the meeting and what's going on in the meeting. I'm actually having to write down, like you would when you're in a business meeting, notes of what's going on. So you got to actively listen and know what's going on, but be able to accurately write notes of what's happening. So the listener role in Toastmasters really helped me out with that. So when I'm in a Zoom meeting or virtual or in-person meeting, one-to-one with somebody or one-to-many, I can go ahead and I can take appropriate notes and still actively be paying attention, be fully engaged. So the listener role, you don't do any speaking until the end of the meeting with the listener's report. And all you do is you quiz the rest of the club on questions that you ask of what you've heard throughout the meeting. And I mean, it's generally a fun time during the meeting too at the end. And you get to really see who's paying attention and who's not. So the listener role, that is one of my favorite roles. And again, a lot of the skill set of active listening is really put to the test during the listener's role. And it helps me out anyway, or it helped me out in professionally and personally, as far as having meetings with people and taking notes. So I just wanted to, since Sean wasn't available to talk about the role of evaluator, I wanted to talk about the listener role, and that's what it is. If you guys ever have any questions about Toastmasters, public speaking in general, you just want to get better at it, and not have anxiety, let me know. Let me know. You can easily, like I said, our meetings are virtual and you can visit them even if you're in a different state. Public speaking is it's a very valuable skill set to have. So I don't know why a lot of other people shy away from it and not dive right into it and get better at it, because it's just going to help you out personally and professionally, in my opinion. And it has. Anyhow, like I said, I belong to Spirit Speakers Club out of Middleborough, Massachusetts. We're virtual. We currently meet on the second and fourth Wednesdays of every month. But if you ever want to visit a virtual meeting, comment Spirited and I'll get you the meeting link. And our next few meetings are different times because of the holidays. The next meeting will be this Wednesday, November 6th at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you all, changed your clocks already too. All right. So don't forget that. I am on at 7, right? It's 7. All right. Anyway, as I stated, if you're interested in going to a meeting, comment. All you have to do is comment Spirited under this and I'll get you the meeting link. That's it. Looking forward to see you there. That's enough for Toastmasters. All right. Next up is networking. All right. Let's get this graphic up. I'm getting better and better at these graphics here. Networking is an essential skill in both business and personal development. In the Core 4 of Networking segment, I break down the key practices for building strong, lasting relationships. Do you know the Core 4 of Networking, or what they are? Can you tell me what the Core 4 of Networking are? Maybe, maybe not. Put in the comments if you can. I'd like to know. Got a few people watching. It's a good thing starting this week. Tonight, I'll be breaking down the Core 4 1 week at a time. Week 1, show up. Why simply being present can open doors to success. Week 2, be yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. Week 3, pay attention. The importance of listening and being fully engaged with others. And week 4, we talk about following up. How to maintain and grow relationships beyond the first meeting. Okay, what's the most significant networking hurdle you have faced, and how did you tackle it? Or you might still be working on it. Please share your biggest networking challenges and how you've addressed them in the comments below. In addition to exploring the Core 4 of networking, this segment will showcase local members of the networking organizations I'm affiliated with, as well as other businesses and professionals in my network. I'll also provide insights on local networking events that I attend. And speaking of local networking events, a couple of weeks ago, I went to a networking event at the Loon Pond Lodge in Lakeville, Massachusetts. Okay, and what happened there? Well, first off, it was hosted by the Cranberry Country Chamber of Commerce. I got to give them a shout real quick. So while I was there, I got some people on camera and I asked them if they could tell me what the Core 4 of networking are. If you'd like to see that, it's in the previous episode from last Monday. That episode is entitled episode Q4.5-2024. But anyway, so that whole tape segment is there. So Ann Turpin was the only one that got one of them. Great job, Ann. Nobody else I asked knew the answer. So tonight, I brought a guest on. Al and I are going to talk about the first of the Core 4 of networking. What's that, you ask? Check out this brief clip. What's up? I'm here at a Cranberry Country Chamber of Commerce networking event at the Residence Inn Marriott, Boston, Bridgewater. And I'm here with Al.
How you doing, everyone? My tip for the day is just show up.
Just show up. That's right. We're going to start giving you some networking tips every single time we're at a networking event. And our first networking tip is, again,
just show up.
Just show up. It's a networking event. Don't be shy because it's a networking event. So again, just show up.
Just show up.
Hopefully we'll see you at one of the next networking events. See you guys later. Okay. Let's bring Al out from backstage and talk about showing up. All right. Hello, Al. How's it going tonight?
Good, Jason. How you doing?
Awesome. Awesome. Could you please remind the audience, because we have a few new eyeballs all the time. So could you remind the audience of who you are and what it is that you do?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Albert Moy. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. So I do everything from all your financial planning, from retirement planning, estate planning, wealth protection, and et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. Thanks, Al. Let's talk about showing up. As far as showing up, physically showing up, right? That's the first thing
Right.
you got to do is physically show up. So how do we do that? We got to find local networking events, right?
Right.
So, Al, where do you look to find networking events to attend?
That's the thing that a lot of people I find that they struggle with. That is like they say, "Yeah, I know. I want to go networking, but where do I go to these networking ones that fit me, what I want to go for?" So there are many sites out there that you can look at. The ones that I use quite a bit is Facebook. Facebook, if you go into events, they type in a zip code or city or town, whatever. You'll find all these networking events, from social events to business networking to other events. Just to go out eating or something like that. So Facebook is one of them. The next one is there's one called Meetup app, which shows that you can find a lot of events there as well. The last one that I use quite a bit is Eventbrite. If you go to Eventbrite, they actually have a lot of events of different, like I said, similar to Facebook, but now these Eventbrite, where you can just check them out. Some are free, some may cost some money, but there's a lot of different types of events that you can go to.
So, Al, you had mentioned, I know that you have talked about it before in the past in person at some of our networking meetings, Eventbrite, Meetup, Facebook. Can you tell me, as far as you've done events, or you've hosted some events with John Norris recently, right? The estate attorney.
Right.
So
Mhm.
in doing so, on the end of the host of the networking event that wants bodies to show up, can you tell me, are there any advantages or disadvantages as far as using either one of those that you mentioned? You mentioned Eventbrite, Meetup, and Facebook, I believe.
Well, it's not really. I mean, they both work pretty much the same. It's just one they both do. You are able to track, but it's much easier to use Eventbrite to track. Who's going to show up, as to who's going to RSVP to your event. Well, Facebook, you can have tons of people that says I'm interested or I'm going, but then you may not be able to track a lot of them. You may get a lot of interest. You'll probably get like 40, 30 people who are say they're interested, and then in your event you just have maybe like 2 people to show up. So that's the only difference with Eventbrite. They actually can track that. You can get information from them, such as their emails, their what they do, their phone numbers, and so forth. That you can get more. That you can do a follow up. When we'll talk more about that later.
Awesome. So Eventbrite is the one that charges, but they give you all of those stats.
Well, they do charge, but only but it's free if you are only doing like an event that you have only probably about 25 tickets or so. So if you say, I'm not looking for a big crowd. If I'm hosting something like myself, we do a seminar. If we don't want it to be overwhelming. It's not like a true networking event, but if it's just a small one, if you can do up to 25, or if not, if you need more, then it just should charge you. But then it's fairly inexpensive. So.
All right. No, thank you for that, Al. Perfect. Some other ways that people can find networking events. Well, you got Chamber of Commerce, I know, is one. Oh, we lost Al for a second. Hopefully Al gets back. Well, we're waiting for Al to get back. Chamber of Commerce. That's another way to do it. Your local Chamber of Commerce. Again, I'm Al as well. We're both ambassadors for the Cranberry Country Chamber of Commerce. Cranberry Country Chamber of Commerce. They encompass Middleborough and all the surrounding communities. That doesn't necessarily mean that the business is in Middleborough or the surrounding communities. It's just that it could be outside of your outside of where your business is, but you may do business inside of Middleborough or surrounding areas. So that's Cranberry Country Chamber of Commerce. But there's other Chamber of Commerces that are local that are out there, and they all have different events. And Chamber of Commerce is all about, you guessed it, commerce and helping businesses out with that. So definitely check out your local Chamber of Commerces for that. I'm going to go on and continue. I got a message here from Al. Let's see. He doesn't know what happened, but that's okay. As long as he logs back on. Let me tell him here. Love live broadcast, but, it's all good. Oh, there he is. All right. Let's see. Oh, there we go. We got Al back. You can hear me, Al?
No, I don't know what happened.
Oh, but that's okay. It's all good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
No.
You got great audio too tonight, Al. I don't know what's different, but
Can you hear me?
anyhow. Yep, perfect.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
No, that's all right. So what I was saying when we lost you was the local Chamber of Commerces are also a good avenue to find network events to show up to. And another thing maybe would be inside social media groups. I find, especially on Facebook, you have all these different towns that have these business groups. And you might want to look in there as well, in the different business groups on Facebook and other LinkedIn and whatnot. Let's see what else we got here. Another thing would be local community centers. Check bulletin boards, at community centers, libraries, or coffee shops for flyers even. You never know. You can attend industry conferences and trade shows. That's a big one. That's a biggie.
Right. I think what confuses a lot of people is when they see an event that says real estate networking, they think that, well, I'm not a realtor. I'm not a mortgage lender. So it have something to do with real estate. But guess what? You can still go to those events. A lot of time it's not all about real estate. You can always just go there just to meet people. You could be anyone, whatever you do. A realtor might need your services. A mortgage lender might need your services. It doesn't mean that you're going to go there because it's a real estate event that you can't show up. So.
No, exactly. People do forget that you're networking with other human beings, and other human beings know other human beings, and you're a human being. I mean, it's just that simple. Think a little bit outside the box. Don't be so, I don't want to, so close-minded, I guess you can say. Okay, you got to be open-minded. We have a comment here from Paul. Paul from Easter Seals. We got Paul. Al almost broke the first rule. Yeah, it wasn't on purpose though. It wasn't on purpose, Paul. And thanks for showing up, Paul, too, to watch. I mean, Paul's showing up, right, Al?
Right.
Awesome. Another way to find out about networking events, how about word of mouth? Ask your current contacts or colleagues. They might know of some networking event or group or what have you that you don't know about. Right? Ask them. I mean, I have Al sends me stuff all the time that I've never heard of. I mean, like Al's crazy at network. He's awesome at networking. That's why I have him here. The other thing too, that I was trying to think of things to present of value for people on the show for this segment tonight. And one of the things I thought of was visit new groups. And you can visit new groups by filling in as a sub for others.
Right.
I'm a member of NGU and some other ones. So you can go ahead and you can visit or sub for a colleague or something like, Jane Us Realty Group. Angela, she's in the Weymouth chapter of NGU. And I'm going to go ahead and sub for her. That's a whole nother group that I don't usually see. Again, other human beings connecting with other human beings. That's the whole point. Right. So, Al, what networking events do you plan to attend in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I have one next week that's with the Chamber of Commerce, the Cranberry Country Chamber of Commerce. It's a men's golf event, networking. So they started something new. So that ought to be fun. We get to go whack some balls and and do some networking, with some food as well. So um, then I'm also going to do some other ones that are more just that I've been involved with, that I know smaller groups that are hosting some of these events that are out in Boston. So there's some one called Mass Professional Networking Group. They're huge. Usually, if you're willing to travel out to Boston, these events they usually have roughly about 150 to 200 people in attendance. So I tell you, bring tons of business cards because you're going to meet a lot of people from all industry and all walks of life.
Al, I'm hitting one of those up with you this winter. I am.
All right.
Plus, we need to get some footage for this segment anyway. So I mean, meet some new people this holiday season. I'm down.
All right.
Awesome. So I want to ask the audience. Can you think of any other ways to find local networking events? Let us know in the chime in here on the comments. Chime in on the comments. All right, let's move on with show up here. Let's talk about consistently showing up. So consistency builds recognition and trust. Regular attendance at networking events can significantly impact your reputation. When people see you consistently, they start to, guess what? Recognize you, remember you, and trust that you're serious about actually building connections because they see it showing up, consistently. So I want to ask you, Al, like I said, you go to a ton of networking events. Do you have any tips for the audience on how to consistently show up?
Yeah, a lot of time is don't go to one event. It may be a bad day, bad timing. Whenever you go to an event, you go, I didn't meet a lot of people here. This event doesn't seem to be, what I thought it would be. You feel like, okay, it wasn't your night. Guess what? Show up again to the next. If they have another event next month, go to it again. And you're going to see it may be different. It might be different. Like I said, everyone's busy with their life. So a lot of times you go to an event, it may not be what you expect. The one I went to last night was really hopping. It was, there's a ton of people. How come this one didn't have any? A lot of times is also is just showing up, being there. You may have another person that met you once, and it was their first time networking. And guess what? They see you at a second one, then they're gonna say, "Hey, you know what? It's always nice to see a friendly face, someone I've talked to." So they feel more confident, and it gives them confidence, but then it gives you confidence as well. Where now you start building that relationship. Every time you meet the same person, and guess what? You have something else to talk about. Eventually, that's when the business comes to. Is when people start to trust you and not just say, "Hi, how you doing? Let's do business." No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's like, I seen this guy like once or twice around. I don't know, what's up with this guy.
Right.
We don't got to worry about that with Al. We see him all over the place. All right, yeah, no, but you're right though. I mean, you just gotta show up. I want to ask the audience. No one mentioned a comment on the other thing, but do you show up consistently to local networking events? Do you really? Drop a comment and let us know if you actually show up consistently. And I can piggyback on what Al said as far as showing up and it not being a good one, and then you tend to not want to show up to the next one. Man, show up. I can't tell you how many times that I've showed up to events where there was barely anybody in attendance, but let me tell you, the people that I connected with there, it's almost better because it was a more intimate type of networking event because you didn't have so many people. It wasn't so overwhelming. And a lot of times when it happens like that, you're at an advantage as far as making a deeper connection quicker in a smaller setting like that. So just show up, man. It only takes one connection anyway.
Right. Right.
So that's that. So don't just show up either. That's the other thing. Don't just show up for yourself. Be there for others. That's huge, man. Be prepared and add value. Networking isn't just about what you can get. It's actually more about what you can give if you do it the right way. You want to show up with a mindset of supporting others, whether it's by introducing people, sharing knowledge, or simply just offering encouragement. All that stuff goes a long way. So don't just show up for yourself. Al, what advice would you give someone who's new to networking and isn't sure to how to, give back or add value in these situations if they're new?
Well, if they're new the first time, if you're out there, I always say, you can tell people, just say a brief description of what you do in terms of, what your job is. And that's it. Don't go into more details. Don't try to convince the person to do business with you right away, because they're not going to. The other thing is also is, when you go to a networking event, I tell people, I say, just, don't be afraid. Just look at, everyone's here to network. I always tell people, I use my analogy like fishing. I said, if you go out there fishing with just one pole, you'd be lucky you catch something. I consider that almost like cold calling, right? But when you come to a networking event, you're in a hatchery. All you need to do is stick your hand out and say, how you doing? And people will shake your hand and start talking to you. And once you break the ice, you go, this wasn't that bad. And you just go do the same thing with the next person. Then once you continue to do that more, it's almost like, why was I afraid? I mean, I used to be like that. I see a lot of people that now I approach them. They'll be in the corner having their drink or on their phone. I say, you're new to networking, aren't you? They say, how'd you know? I say, because everyone's over here while you're standing here by yourself. So, and I've actually taken on some new networkers to say, hey, if you want to follow me, if you're willing to travel, go to all these networking groups, I can teach you how to network. And then so far right now, they feel more confident. They say, you know what, this is working. This is great. I wouldn't have been, I mean, eventually I said, you'll be able to do it. But if somebody tells you how to start off saying, the conversation and everything and what you should do and not do, it actually helps out quite a bit in the beginning. So.
Yeah, check out Al providing value, right? Yeah, I love it. I love it. So we have a couple comments here. Anne's commenting on showing up. She tries to attend as many events as she can, and that's right, because I see Anne at quite a few networking events, and that's probably why she knew one of the core four, right? Because she shows up. Awesome, Anne. I appreciate you. And then Paul has a question for Al. Let's see what this question is. Al, do you have any tips for being memorable or recognizable so people can remember you the next time? So do you do anything?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
I'm not going to. I know too. I'm not going to spoil it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the thing is to make yourself memorable or recognizable. There's a lot of time is, which is one of the core four, is pay attention, right? Is that when somebody's talking to you, is that you always have to pay attention, because there's always different words that people start talking to you. A lot of time when somebody talks to you, they will start telling you about their life, and things about themselves, such as maybe there's a hobby or something. There's something that they like to do, like in terms of sporting events or whatever type of things that they like to do. So you remember this, and next time you go, you know what? I do the same thing. We have the same, hobby. We do the same thing. So you have something in common, and that's what makes you, memorable, is because that person will remember you. Say, you know what? Yeah, that's the same guy that goes and jumps off to bungee jumping like I do. So not everyone will do that, and then he or she will always remember you because of something like that. Because you have something in common. It's almost just like going on a date, right? You have something in common is better than you have nothing in common, right? So that how people is going to recognize you or remember you.
Al, that's awesome, Al. I love that. So you use active listening to pay attention so that you can find something in common with the person and relatable, so that it resonates with them and they remember you. That's awesome. Right. And Al, I was going to say that, I know that you have these different crazy socks that you wear every single time with the suit when you're out networking. So I was going to say the socks. Al does the socks.
Well, that's just a conversation piece, but to be memorable is really up to you.
Well said. Well said. All right. So I want to know from you, the audience, do you show up for others and provide value at networking events? Have you gotten value from others? So that's a good question to ask yourself to prepare yourself to go networking. What value can I provide to others? Let us know if you have in the comments. Please let us know. That's all I've got for this segment. What about you, Al?
No, I think I don't want to say everything all at once right now because we have three more segments to go, and that way people can understand more instead of jumping all over the place. So I want people to understand. So
Awesome. Thank you, Al. Next Wednesday is week 2, so we'll be discussing Be Yourself. Authenticity is the key to forming genuine connections. So if you'd like to be a guest on the show to discuss your story in more depth, please get in touch. I'd be happy to have you. Al, what's the best way for someone in the audience to connect with you?
yeah, they can reach me at my email address is albert.moy, that's MUI, at edwardjones.com.
Awesome. And before I let you go, we got another comment in here from Sheila. Sheila says that she loves seeing Al in Foxborough and and all the
Hi,
shores.
Sheila.
What's up, Sheila? That's awesome. That's cool. And she gives us applause. All right. So look for Al on future episodes. I'm going to go ahead and put you backstage, Al, if you don't mind. And I thank you for showing up. Awesome. All right. Next up is fitness success, the 4 pillars of achievement. Each week, I alone or with a guest will break down a specific pillar to help you build a balanced, sustainable fitness routine. Week 1, Pillar 1, nutrition habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Week 2 is Pillar 2, stress management. Practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Week 3, physical activity. Excuse me. Tips to stay active or energized no matter your fitness level. Week 4, Pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. Since we're in week 1, our focus tonight will be on Pillar 1, nutrition habits. What are nutrition habits? First, let's talk about what they're not. Nutrition habits are not a diet. What do I mean by diet? Check out this short clip.
Of dieting. Let's talk about that for a second. Briefly touch on it, okay? You start off, chronic participation in diet programs, detox challenges, etc., over and over and over again. And you end up doing what? Depriving yourself, okay? And lose some weight, of course, but you're still loose. It's not quite the effect that you wanted, especially with all the deprivation. And then what ends up happening is the diet ends, right? And when the diet ends, you revert back to the pre-diet eating habits, okay? Because you never learned anything new. You just know how to restrict and that's it. And then as a result of that, you rebound and you put the weight back on and some, usually, okay? Then you feel miserable and heavy again, and you're worse off than before. And let's go ahead and complete that cycle now, okay? There you go. Then you go and you do it again and again and again. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. That's exactly what this is, okay? Fad diets don't work, but you started another one anyway, and you get caught up in this cycle. Okay, that's what I mean by the cycle of dieting. What we want to do, though, is we want to break that cycle and never diet again. In order to do that, do something different. Okay, do something different.
Have you ever fallen into the cycle of dieting before? Comment, let me know. How do you break the cycle of dieting? How do you break the cycle of dieting? Before I mention how to break the cycle of dieting, I just wanted to let you guys know that I do have some authority to talk about it. This is my personal before and after for those of you that don't know me. I was over 300 pounds, about 305-ish or whatever at my heaviest. And I had about a 46, 48-inch waist, depending on where I put the belt on my gut. And when I looked down, I couldn't see my feet. But that was a long time ago. So I guess I know a little something about losing body fat. So anyway, or breaking the cycle of dieting anyway. So how do you break the cycle of dieting? All right. You break the cycle with good nutrition habits. You already have nutrition habits. Okay. But what are nutrition habits? What are nutrition habits? Largely, nutrition habits involve consistent patterns in the foods or the food choices that you choose daily. All right. So if you want to be fit, you just have to learn how to apply the correct patterns. What are good nutrition habits? Good nutrition habits are consistent food choices that actually support health and well-being. That's all. Maybe the nutrition habits you have now aren't conducive to that. That's all. Just got to change your habits. You want to make sure that you're nourishing your body, not just feeding the hunger. Let me explain what I mean by that. So you want to make sure you're nourishing your body, not feeding the hunger. So what happens when you're going far, long, but you haven't eaten in a while, right? You haven't eaten in a while. Your stomach starts to growl, you get hungry. So what do? You typically, whatever is closest or convenient, especially if you're busy, you feed the hunger. You feed yourself. You get rid of that, stomach pain. And that's it. You're just feeding the hunger. You're not necessarily nourishing your body, though. What are you feeding that hunger with? That's the difference. So you want to nourish your body, not just feed the hunger. And how do you do that? Okay. You choose whole foods over processed foods. Like I said, what you put in your body, what you feed the hunger with, determines whether you're nourishing your body or not. And if you choose whole foods over processed foods, then guess what? You'll be nourishing your body. Whole foods, fruits, vegetables, whole proteins, whole foods. It didn't come in a box. Processed foods, they're processed. They come in a box. They're manufactured. They're man-made. And whole foods over processed foods, or whole foods versus processed foods, is kind of like saying nutrient-dense foods versus nutrient-deficient foods, because whole foods are typically nutrient-dense. Processed foods are typically, you guessed it, nutrient deficient. All right. So choose whole foods over processed foods. That is one thing that you can do. I'm going to show you 3 things you can do right now today to start to work on your fitness. And the first thing, all you got to do is just choose whole foods over processed foods. That's it. Okay. Second thing you got to do. Second thing you got to do to nourish your body instead of feed the hunger. Don't completely cut out a macronutrient. What I mean by that, what's a macronutrient? Well, a macronutrient is protein, carbohydrates, or fat. That's all. Macronutrient is a protein, carbohydrate, and fat. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. That's it. So don't completely cut out a macronutrient. A lot of people are carb phobic or fat phobic or what have you, or they just don't get enough protein in. So don't completely cut out a macronutrient. You want to eat a variety of foods, in fact. You just got to eat the right combo and the right quantities is all. But you'll be in some decent shape, no pun intended, if you don't completely cut out a macronutrient. Number 3, the third thing you can do is hydrate properly. A lot of people neglect that, and it's such low-hanging fruit. There are so many benefits to hydrating properly. Water is essential for almost every function in the body. We're like 80% water. I mean, hydrating properly supports energy, focus, stamina. Who could use more of that, right? It aids in digestion and nutrient absorption so that you can nourish your body. It flushes out toxins, which speeds up recovery and reduces soreness. Who wouldn't want that? And also keeps muscles and joints functioning well. It's kind of a no-brainer to hydrate, right? Water is crucial for everything from energy to muscle recovery. It's a no-brainer. You can get a ton of benefits from hydrating properly, and it's easy to do. Folks. So if you're interested in getting my hydration guide so that you can hydrate properly, all you got to do is drop a comment below that says hydration, and I'll send it right over to you. So if you're watching this on the replay, you're watching it now, later on, I'll go ahead and send it right over to you. Just comment hydration, and I'll send you the hydration guide so you know how much to drink. That's it. Very simple. All right, that concludes this segment for this evening. So remember, building good nutrition habits is about consistency, not restriction. It's not a diet or a quick fix. It's consistency in choosing foods that fuel your body. It's not cutting out protein, carbs, or fat. It's eating a variety of foods. And don't forget proper hydration. From home, you can help shape future episodes. Just answer this question for me. Which of these 4 pillars, nutrition, stress management, physical activity, or recovery, do you feel you need the most help with right now? Leave a comment below, and remember, that goes for those watching the replay too. All right, got a comment here. Awesome. And hydration. I will send that out to you right after the show. I appreciate that. Awesome. And again, if you're watching it on the replay, just comment hydration. I'll send you the hydration guide. Next Monday is week 2. So we'll be discussing Pillar 2, stress management, practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Awesome. That is that segment. Now let's move on to the final segment of tonight. The Real Estate Roundup segment keeps you updated on the latest in the real estate world. Whether you're interested in residential or commercial, this segment's got you covered. I'll invite guest experts to share insights and discuss the subjects that you want to hear more about. In tonight's Real Estate Roundup segment, I want to take some time to ask you about what you want to hear about. Please share your thoughts in the comments, and keep in mind that this is also for those catching the replay. Your feedback is invaluable and will help me create future episodes. I need questions, folks. I need questions for the Real Estate Roundup. Want to hear what you want to hear about. Anything specific in commercial, residential, something otherwise, let us know. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Again, I need some questions. And here I am too, by the way. Okay, how do I gain weight in a healthy way? Tabitha, that is an awesome question. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to get you a video response one way or another. I'm going to follow up with you and connect with you on that. Thank you for that question. All right, keeping it moving. We're nearing the end of tonight's show. Let me move some stuff around my screen so I can see better. All right. One more thing. Expect each episode to end on a lighthearted note with a joke or a funny moment, whether it's in the form of a meme or a short video. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Every week, we'll dive into topics that will help you grow with the mix of fun and practical advice, from nutrition habits to real estate tips, public speaking skills, to networking strategies. This show is designed to inspire you, keep it real, and of course, keep it fun. Tonight, I talked about the listener role in Toastmasters, nutrition habits that you can use right away to start working on your fitness, And if you missed it, just got to check out the replay or rewind. Then Al and I discussed the first of the core 4 of networking that would show up. Next week, we'll talk about the next one. And then I talked about the services of my real estate brokerage and consulting firm, J. Nuss Realty Group. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment about it. I do appreciate all of the comments this evening. If you did arrive after we started or missed any details, don't worry. Like I said, you can check this out on the replay. Please stand by for this week's funny moment.
You're on a diet. I am. But you just ate 2 slices of pizza. Yeah, but I wanted to eat 4. I wanted to eat 4 slices and I didn't, so I should get credit for that.
Alrighty then. Thanks for joining me this evening. I can't wait to see you next week for more Keeping It Real. Be sure to leave your comments, share your thoughts, and don't hesitate to get involved. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and keep it real. See you next week on Monday, November 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you.
I know everybody a go lie. I know everybody a go lie. Success don't come overnight. No matter no substance over hype.